I dreaded it so much. It tells me that I have cancer. I was in so much pain. I have to do it all alone. There are no guests allowed. He said the C word. Hey guys, it's Jill. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to Vlogmas. Welcome if you are new. Today's video is going to be me updating you guys all about my hysterectomy. I am 1 year post-op and I want to tell you guys all about the process, all about why I got the hysterectomy, and encourage those of you that know you have issues going with your health or issues with your health and you know something's wrong, that you need to go get it checked, because this was something that I had found out. I guess I can go ahead and go into the story. I found out that I had an abnormal pap smear in 2013. Hold on, I'm sitting on a pillow. 2013 is when I had my first abnormal pap smear. Okay, I had to move the camera closer because I felt like you guys are too far away. Okay, 2013, I had an abnormal pap smear. My doctor wanted me to come in to have a biopsy. I went in for a biopsy and he said the C word. We think you might have cancer and I want to go in and really scrape the cells, get a further in-depth look of what's going on in there in your cervix, and see what's going on as to why you have this abnormal pap smear. So I actually want to say it was before then. No, this was 2013. Yeah, 2014. So I then put it off because I'm like, I'm not having surgery, like I'm fine. But at this point, my periods were off the charts. They were 7 days long. I was in so much pain every single period. It did not matter what I did, whether I was active, whether I cut certain foods out, whether I ate super healthy, exercise, did all the things that were supposed to prevent cramps and make the cramps go away. It did not matter. Medication, heating pad. I was in so much pain all the time. And then it just progressed as the years went on. I did go to another doctor, got the same exact diagnosis. I was supposed to go have a biopsy and I was like, I'm not doing that, so I didn't do it. And a couple of years, okay, I promise we're gonna get through this video. I had changed my camera because all of the batteries that I have for my other camera are all dead. So we're gonna get through this though. I went to another doctor, same thing. I was like, no, I'm not gonna have the biopsy. Like, let's schedule it for another day. So a couple years have passed. I go back to the original doctor. He does another pap smear. He's like, your cells are abnormal. You have to have this surgery. I don't even need to do a biopsy because we've already done that. It's still like the results are still the same. We need to go and dig deeper and see what's going on in your cervix. And so I'm like, okay, like let's schedule it. So I schedule it. I was falling into a deep, dark depression and I was like, there is just no way that I can have this surgery. And I ran in fear yet again, and I canceled the surgery a few days before. This whole entire time, may I add, my periods kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse. It was interfering with my life so much to where I could not plan anything with people, or if someone was like, hey, do you want to go here this weekend? I'd be like, oh, hold on, let me see and check out when my period's supposed to come. Like, it was controlling my life. And it was the one thing that, oh my gosh, I dreaded it so much because the pain kept getting more and more and more intense. When I tell you, like, I would just lay on the couch curled up in a ball like a baby because it was so painful. And the pain, no matter what I did, just would not go away. So 2020 rolls around, and why I chose that year, I don't know. But 2020 rolls around And I go see him, and obviously it's the same thing. Abnormal cells, abnormal pap smear, we need to schedule you for surgery. So I was like, okay, let's do this. So October 8th of 2020, I went ahead and I went in for the procedure, and it was just an inpatient, outpatient thing where I went in super early in the morning. He put me under. I was under for maybe 30 minutes. It was super simple, super easy. And it was the very first time I had ever had, I mean, I've had 2 C-sections, so I've had 2 spinals, but I never have been knocked out and like put out, like put to sleep. So I was very, very scared for that. And oh my gosh, I just remember I was so irritated at the anesthesiologist because he was like, he gave me some medicine to calm me down. But I was like, why did you not give this to me like an hour ago when I was sitting there waiting for an hour? Like, I was so scared. But he was like asking me something about, do you live, like, where are you from? And I was like, no, I'm not from here in Augusta. I'm originally from Buffalo. And he was like, oh, I have a crazy ex from Buffalo. Are you crazy? And I'm like, no, I'm not crazy. I'm so mad at him. And whatever he gave me, like, just went into me immediately, and it like warmed my whole body, and it made me feel so weird. And I was like, oh God, I have a panic attack. He's like, you're fine, you're fine. And then I was like, and before I knew it, I woke up. So it was a really simple procedure. He went and scraped the cells. I'm not exactly sure. It was a DNC. That's what that was called. But then he also did something where I think he like took a camera or something. I really can't remember. But with the DNC, he also did something else where he actually took a chunk of the cervix, because I had my tubes tied after my daughter back in 2009. And he knew I was done having kids, so he was like, I'm gonna go ahead and take a bigger sample of your cervix just to kind of see, again, what's going on. And this was the time, obviously, like COVID was like at its, it was really becoming like a second wave of its peak. So my mom was allowed to come with me, thank God, for my first surgery, because I definitely needed her there. And as soon as the surgery was over and I went into recovery, and then after recovery went into my room, and then like however many hours, like an hour or so after I've woken up, I think I was released. And he calls me into an appointment, or we make an appointment for a week after the surgery so we can go ahead. Was it a week? It was like a few days after my 40th birthday. So this was like all like 2020. It was a year. I mean, it was a year for us all, but oh my gosh. So he sits me down and we're in this office. I cannot have my mom there because no one else is allowed. It's just the patient. And he tells me that I have cancer. And he says, we think we got it all out in the procedure that we did. We think that we got all of the cancer cells and everything out, but we want to, like, what do you want to do from here? There's a couple of options. You can go to an oncologist and you can talk to them. You can have a hysterectomy, which is what I personally think that your best bet and best option is. Or we can just, you know, we've had the surgery, we've done what we've done. Now you can just go live your life. Because we're very confident that we got all of the cancer out. Well, I asked him, I said, will you be able to put an IUD in me? Because at this point I was still smoking, so birth control pills were not an option for me to control my cycle. That's what I needed. I'm like, dude, you don't understand. I have got to get rid of these periods. Like, they have got to go away. So either you put an IUD in me, or we're going with the hysterectomy, because again, I was a smoker at the time, so I could not take birth control pills because it was too high of a risk for me to have blood clots. So yeah, we decided to go with the hysterectomy. I go in December 15th for the hysterectomy. I have to do it all alone. There are no guests allowed, only the patients. And oh my gosh, they were so understaffed. I hardly ever saw my nurses. I had to stay overnight. It was one of those things that was like, it was scary, but it was one of those things I knew God was with me the whole time, so I wasn't as fearful. And I really trusted my doctor. My doctor is so amazing. He has the most amazing, wonderful bedside manner. If you are in the Augusta area and you need an OBGYN, oh my gosh, Dr. Burns, his name is Dr. Donald Burns. He is amazing. Best doctor I've ever had. I literally cried when I moved here to North Carolina because my insurance won't allow me to go and see him, and I'm obviously not going to pay out of pocket because I have to keep getting pap smears once a year because I had cervical cancer. They need to make sure that the cancer does not come back. So for the rest of my life, I will have to have pap smears done. But yeah, I went in, I had the hysterectomy. Everything he took out, he left the ovaries, so he took everything else though, and he sent that off, and that all came back with no cancer. So he originally did get the cancer out, but I was like, if you cannot give me any option to take these periods away, take it out, because I mean, I'm not having more kids. Like, I have no need for a cervix anymore. Like, it's given me, like, the amount of pain and suffering that I kept myself in because it was my fault, because I did not get this surgery. I needed this surgery done, and I just kind of sat and was like, no, it'll be fine, it'll go away. No. And it kept getting worse and worse and worse. When I stopped having my period before my hysterectomy, my periods were now lasting 9 to 10 days, and the pain was so intense that I would cry. Like, I have a pretty high tolerance for pain, and I very rarely cry when it comes to like physical pain. Emotional pain, girl, please. I'm a crybaby. I'm very sensitive. But physical pain, I pretty much very rarely cry. But I got to the point where I was crying because it hurt so bad, and I was just begging God, like, please take these cramps away, and they would go away. So a year post-op, I am doing great. I have had a pap smear since post-op. After surgery, I healed really well and pretty quickly. I was cleared to drive and exercise and all of the things, I think at like 4.5 weeks post-op, which was awesome. I was actually due to have my period in December, 2 days. I was supposed to start 2 days before my surgery date, and thank God it held off, so I did not. My last period was in November of 2020, and oh my gosh, a year without periods has been such an incredible blessing. It is the best thing that I could ever have done for myself and my health. When I think back at how my life used to be, where like if I couldn't plan a vacation, I couldn't plan things with my kids, I couldn't buy tickets to anything in advance because I was always so scared that I wouldn't be able to go because I'd be out for the count on the couch in immense pain with my period. I also didn't like going anywhere because I was literally bleeding everywhere. I mean, it didn't matter what I used. I would like triple up on my pads, and I mean, it's like pretty graphic, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Like, have like super max tampons, and it would just it was so incredibly bad. And I mean, I don't know, I just feel like my thing is, number one, definitely the weight, because I hear when you gain weight, your periods get more painful and they also get heavier. But also on top of that, not just the weight gain, but more so because something was going on and something was wrong. And something was wrong for a very long time. So I am very grateful and blessed that I did not have a cancer that spread. Or if I did have a cancer that spread, it did not spread in the 5 years that I sat and just let it sit in there in my body, you know? So I definitely recommend that if you have anything, if you have an abnormal pap smear come back and your doctor's like, we need to do a DNC, we need to look deeper, we need to do biopsy, whatever your doctor is suggesting, I mean, go get a second opinion. But even in my case, I did go get a second opinion, and it came out to be the same exact diagnosis. And I just held off for so long. And I look back and I'm like, do I wish I would have? Of course I do. But then I also think about the emotional roller coaster that I had been through from the year of 2013 to 2019 with my divorce and my ex-husband and all that I went through. It was really, really, really difficult. So adding a surgery in on top of that may have been just like, I don't know, it may have been a little too much for me. But I'm so glad that I did what I did when I did it. And here I am a year post-op. As far as after the hysterectomy, I mean, I just did what he told me to do. I think for the first 7 days, I really wasn't able to do much. But yeah, recovery was like, it was really simple. Like, I mean, I also had 2 C-sections. So it was very similar to the C-sections, only this time I was the one that was actually able to get waited on, versus when you have C-sections, obviously you go straight into mommyhood and you're mom 24/7. You have this infant to take care of, along with trying to take care of your surgery and like the fact that you've just had major surgery, you know. But this time around, it was nicer because of the fact I had, my children were now taking care of me, and I didn't have to, you know, specifically take care of an infant. And I was able to relax and rest. And I think that that also helped with my healing. I also really healed fairly quickly from my C-sections as well. So yeah, 7 days, no driving. I think it's actually 2 weeks, no driving. I didn't really do much. I didn't go see anyone because I didn't, you know, COVID, I didn't want to get COVID on top of trying to heal. So last Christmas was the first Christmas I didn't see my parents or anyone else except for my kids. It was just me and my kids, and it was like a nice chill Christmas. And yeah, I have scars. They're very faint. I mean, they kind of blend in with my stretch marks that I have in my stomach, and that's really about it. Best thing ever. I absolutely love not having a period. It is so freeing, and I'm able to make plans and not have to wonder, when's my period coming? Oh wait, I can't make that plan yet. Let me go check my period calendar. It has been the best. No pain, no cramps, no pads, no tampons. It is amazing. No, all the stuff that's associated. Now I will say, because I have my ovaries, apparently I still have PMS symptoms, but y'all, I lost track. I mean, I kept track of my period, like when I was supposed to have it, for the first maybe 3 months, and then I was just like, there is no point in this. So whether or not I have irritability or PMS symptoms due to me still having my ovaries, I never really pay attention to. So I will say, when I had my period and when I still have my cervix and everything, oh my gosh, I had the worst PMS. I was not a fun person to be around. I was so irritable. I was so mean. Like, some months I didn't even want to be around myself. That's how bad my PMS symptoms would get. But yeah, now, like, I don't even know. I don't really, and I never even really equate, like, if I'm having a bad day or if I'm like feeling a little irritable or extra irritable, I never sit there and say like, oh, is it like, maybe I'm like experiencing what like my ovaries are like, oh, it's like that time of month. I don't know. Like, I never really experience anything. And that was the one thing that my doctor told me: with you keeping your ovaries, you are going to experience PMS. And I was like, oh no, please don't tell me that. Because if I had to experience PMS like I did, it would have been rough. But yeah, like this whole year, I don't really notice when it's supposed to be my cycle or whatever. So that's been awesome too. The PMS is just gone. It's all gone. And I'm so grateful that I like kept my ovaries, but I still don't really have like severe PMS symptoms. So yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I know a lot of you, because a lot of you helped me when I had my hysterectomy. So I know a lot of you have had hysterectomies. And again, same thing, best thing ever. So yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I love you guys so much. Have an amazing day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.